Alright, so I got some P-channel MOSFETs, so that simplifies everything completely. I'm just putting the grounds together here. So it grounds to everything. That's what the little black wires are on the back. And you can see I have a 10 kilo ohm resistor. You can see it on the back side of the MOSFET there, feeding the source and the gate just to force these low. These are P-channel, so if you provide it with 12 volt or power to the gate, it keeps this off. And then if the gate goes low, it pulls this on. And pulling this on is going to be basically like closing a micro switch, so it's going to normally close it. So that does work. That should work. I'm going to put this in my little box and replumb that stuff together. And then hopefully we can have this on the machine and try to get the proximity sensors that are in the machine working with this. All right, so simpler, but I have this in the box now. I can only put one in, can't put the other. It's pretty close, actually. Maybe I can put that one in. Yeah, much simpler to install this one. Again, it's just a simple P-channel MOSFET with a resistor to hold it closed, or hold it open, I should say, until it forces it close. And yeah, let's see if this is the final iteration. So I got my Z in place. I have it's at 0. Move it off. There we go. My bad. 12. Zero. So that one's working. Let me get the X in. That's going to be much easier because that's right up under there. So, welcome back to the lathe. This is a proximity sensor. This is the one to the tool changer. This is the back half of the carriage for the X-axis. There's the X-axis motor. And reason this is off is because this port is the port for the X-axis proximity sensor. And this is for the Z-axis that goes this way with the lathe. So it wasn't that bad to take these off. I had to desolder some stuff. I have to solder some stuff back together. Either I misunderstood or ChatGPT is a liar or a little combination of both. But what I'm set up for with my P-channel MOSFETs is an NPN, normally open proximity sensor. This one is a PNP, which is the opposite way of what I need it to be. And the other two just weren't really working consistently. I took them out, I wired them, and I was getting readings sometimes and then not other times. So I think they're on their way out. So I have to replace them. I'm going to replace them with these. They'll fit, which is nice. And really, the X isn't bad because you're going to see it. when it's right here to adjust it, and you can adjust it in place. The Z is going to kind of be a pain in the ass because it's behind you, and the actual set screw is underneath of here, which you have no access to. So you got to kind of set it in place. I know where the little setting guy is over there. And this one's super easy to set. I just need to snake this wire through and get it and snake this one back through. So I'm going to try to do that first, and hopefully that's a success. Have it all apart. Shouldn't be that bad. But you guys don't need to see me snaking wires through. Let me get these built and, yeah, go from there. I guess something to add, what I noticed when I was going in there was a few bolts missing, 2 of them technically. And then this was the sensor that was in my Z-axis, threaded, and this was the sensor that was in my X-axis, not threaded. They are called the same thing in the manual, and they're made by the same company. They're the same. This is the same on both of them. But I feel like it's possible someone was in there and these weren't working. So it was just very alarming that this one is not threaded smooth, this one is threaded, and this one is threaded. So better, I guess, just to replace all of these with new ones that I can verify and I know work, and go from there. Alright, so this one would be my A-axis, and that's at 0 because I have it touching. So let me flip that up to be not touching. I'm at 12.4. This one is my X. I do not have that touching. I'm at 12.4, and this one is my Z. I have it touching, and it's at 0. So I'm getting good signal, hopefully. So on to the next bit of this. Alright guys, we finally got something here. I had to replace every one of these. I don't know if I said that already, but if I didn't, I had to replace all 3 of the inductive sensors. Wasn't that bad, actually. They all came into this big, let me try to get that back here. 2 of them are bolted to this thing. There's a couple bolts I needed to take off, and what I noticed then was someone was already in here. A couple of these sensors were different. I might have already said this, so we'll just move on from there. That's the solution that I got. I don't know why it's spazzing like that, but it's fine. So what I've learned was I could not get it done with MOSFETs, especially P-channel MOSFETs. And I think the reasoning behind that is there needs to be a voltage difference between the gate and the source on the P-channel MOSFET. And when the gate goes to 0 with these, the source also goes to 0 then, but it can't go to 0 because the second it gets to within that 4 volts or whatever that the voltage difference is, then it starts flipping back on and off, so it can never fully drain. So I realized that kind of just by frustration, and I switched over to a relay board. So this was like a $7 board on the old Amazon there, and it's pretty cool because the relays are both, you can wire them to be normally open, normally closed. There's 4 of them. They're 12-volt relays. They can handle a ton of amps for what I need, but way too much for what I need. But you can also wire the signal high or low, so you can. This is a very universal board, and let's just run it. I have that in. So if you can see the, you really hear the click too, but I don't know if you can see the little sensor top. Actually, I pulled it way too far away because I gotta speed that up a little bit. But I gotta see how it goes because right now it's beautiful, the accuracy of this. And that ka-chunk, and I'm zeroed. I'm gonna I'm trying to make it loose just with backlash. It's beautiful. Like, it's... Let's make that 0. And that'd be 20005. Yeah, so it's working great. That you hear that weird spaz. I got to work on what that is. Maybe I need a resistor, like a pull-up resistor somewhere or something to make that better. I have to just put all this back together. I had to resolder all those in. That was kind of a pain in the ass. But I just have to put the rest of that back together. I have to replace some of the screws that were missing because someone was in here. And Z works as well. So does Y, but I don't really need Y for anything. And they work when another one, you know, is already triggered, which is good. If this little motor seems to be stuck on the home switch message, which is fine, because I am stuck on the home switch right now. Again, I was a little too far from home, but I can work on that. I guess I'll set these up as like a G54 or G53, whatever it is. It's like, you hear it going nuts? I have no idea why. Maybe I gotta get another one of those little boards. But it's working. It says it's tripped. It doesn't fight me if I try to pull off it at all. It's just very weird. Mostly it's Z that does that. X does it sometimes too. Something. But yeah, I'll put this back together and show you the final form as going out. Alright, so here's the overall setup. I added my hot snot strain relief for the 2 cables coming in. I glue inside of here too to just lock everything together fully. The little 3D printed box, the board mounted with the screws, my little extender coming out. Little top. This is going to wrap around, come in the back, and I'm going to screw it in. And then this whole, everything gets slid back, and we'll be in business. Alright, I just shut the computer down because I'm a moron. But everything's in, back in. Everything wrapped around behind. We're buttoned up top. And yeah, we're good to go. I have a part I want to make next. That's going to be one of the next things you see on here. But to make that part, I'm going to do a video on setting all of my zeros the way I want to set them on my tools with the chuck, and just going over my rationale and how I'm going to set the heights of everything. All right, guys, this is Andrew at Flory PB. This was harder than I anticipated it to be, but it's done. I can zero my machine now. Next thing would be the encoder back here, but I do have another plan for that. And I'll get to that a little bit later. I do want to try to make this part before I do that, because I don't need to thread on this part. But I do want to do threading on this lathe, and I'm going to need the encoder ring of some kind to thread. Right. See you guys.